Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fourth session. We have already had a VAT session, a PI session, and a session for economics. This session will be focusing on the current affairs. Now, we'll be moving on with the specific topics for you, and step by step, we'll be telling you about what to do for those topics and what are the important points you have to focus. So, have we begin? Hoping you best of luck for your coming VAT and PIs. All the best, and we'll starting right now.
So we have collated a certain number of points which are the current affairs, and these are the points that you might expect in your GD or through your interview. So we suggest that you take note of these points and probably look up for stuff on the same headers on Google. You know, so we have a point about TCS. Okay, so TCS became the world's most powerful IT services brand. So where was this documented? It was documented in Brand Finance Global 500 2016 report. And this report also included stuff about Disney, which being the most powerful brand, and Volkswagen losing its brand value because of the carbon emission issue. That is an issue that we would want you to look up because it talks about social values and ethics. And if you're an operations enthusiast, if you want to claim yourself to be an operations enthusiast, you might be quizzed on that and what really went wrong, right? So on how did Volkswagen seek a remedy for this? How did they come out public? So these are the management perspectives that you can learn from certain factors like Volkswagen brand value file. So the Volkswagen brand value fell by 12 billion US dollar in the 2016 report. So just talking about the Chinese entrepreneurship, the industry, so the service sector revolution that is happening in China, we have about 4 of the 10 fastest growing brands in the Brand Finance Global 500 2016 report coming from China. So you would want to look up brands like 360buy.com, QQ, Tencent, right, and Alibaba entering India. So you have Apple being the world's most valuable brand, and this has been there for years. Why so? What is brand value and what is brand equity? You need to look up on factors like this. These are some very important factors which you might be quizzed on during your interview or GD. So coming back to TCS. So what happened during TCS? Why was TCS rated as the world's most powerful IT services brand? So it was scored. So there was a rating that was given to TCS, which is a AA plus rating, and it earned 78.3 points for being the most powerful IT services brand in the world. The company's overall brand value was increased from 2.34 billion US dollar in 2010 to 9.04. That's about a 400% increase in 6 years. So next we move on to Alphabet.
One more key important information for you all. When we are focusing on, you might be asked the question in which industry was actually rated the most powerful brand. So for your information, Disney was rated the most powerful brand and Apple was rated the most valuable brand in this category in the year 2016. So if this question is asked, you can answer these 2 questions. Moving on,
we come to Alphabet Incorporated. So there was a certain hubbub in the digital world when Alphabet was introduced by Sergey Brin himself. So what was the need of Alphabet? What was the need of opening up a super brand for Google? What was the need of moving up the hierarchy? What was the need of opening up an umbrella above Google and making Google a subset of some other company? So yeah, so you should look into stuff like that. So Alphabet Incorporated is an American multinational conglomerate. It was created in 2015. The company is based out of California. And following the restructuring, you have Larry Page. He became the CEO of Alphabet, while Sundar Pichai took his position as CEO of Google. So we move to Forbes, the list that was released in 2016. It's the 30 under 30 list, and how many Indians were featured in the 30 under 30 list? So you have Ritesh Agarwal, who is the founder and CEO of OO Rooms. Then you have Karishma Shah, who is Google Alphabet's head, Google X head, and Divya Nithimi, who is the head of Viking Global Investors. You have Nicha Chittal, who is the head of MSNBC, Ashish Patel, Now This Media, and Sagar Govil, who is the CEO of Centrex. So the companies that you want to look up, out of the list 30 under 30 list are MSNBC, Now This Media, CEO, Symmetrix, then Alphabets, and Oyo Rooms. So then we have a certain event from Tata Motors. It was listed as the only Indian firm on the top global R&D spenders. So India, you see an average of about 7% R&D from the total in industries that we have in the country. So which is certainly low when you compare it to the Western world, or you take North American continent or Europe. So would be a very less margin to be invested in R&D, and that is certainly not a herald for industrial innovation. So Tata Motors was listed as one of the top 50 global R&D spender from the country. So this happened. The list was made in 20th December 2015. So prepared by the European Commission, the annual industry R&D investment scoreboard for 2015 was topped by the German automaker Volkswagen. Although they met with the problem of carbon emissions, they still stood first in the list, European Commission's list. In the top 5 R&D spenders, you have Volkswagen, Samsung, Microsoft, Intel, and Novartis. A total of 608 companies were listed by the European Commission for this R&D investment list. I would have seen that 136 were from Germany, followed by UK with 135. That's a very small margin, and then came France, and then it was Sweden, and 32 from Italy was in the fifth place. Moving on to the banking sector. So this is important for people who want to pursue a major in finance, who have a finance work ex, or educational background, finance or educational background. So it is about SBI India's first startup focused branch. So it is called SBI Incube. So the point is SBI Incube. You want to look into SBI Incube. SBI being India's largest bank, it launched SBI Incube on 14 January 2016. The bank also launched a wealth management service called SBI Exclusive, which is targeted at the fast-growing affluent segment in the country. So we're talking about the fast-growing affluent segment. It's not just we were trying to tap, the banking system is always trying to tap the high-income sector also. So that's what SBI Exclusive points at. So coming back to SBI Incube, the startup, here are the key pointers about SBI Incube. The SBI Incube branch will work towards fulfilling the specific financial needs of the startups. So you might have noticed that the president had made a convene for the top startups in the country to seed finance for these startups. So this was a great initiative by our president, by our prime minister. So this is SBI Incube is in lines with the same startup financial, catering to the financial needs of startups. So SBI Incube, this service will provide advisory services to the budding entrepreneurs under one roof. So this is a key motive of SBI Incube. It will the branch in its current form will not fund startup, that is, will not provide loans. However, it will give them loans when they turn more mature. So it does not initially, provide fund the startups, but when the startup pass through the growth stage, when they near the maturity stage, that's when they get loans. So we would advise you to look into this SBI Incube. It seems important for finance, people who are finance enthusiasts. So then comes the defense. So India, as you know, has about 2 to 2.5% of its GDP expenses contributing to Indian defense, and so some of the You have partnership ventures with the government. So what are the companies which have made partnership ventures with the government? So you have Mahindra as aerospace and GE Aviation to make aerostructures, right? They have Mahindra Aerospace and GE Aviation have partnered to make aerostructures, and then you have Malagan Aerospace and Mahindra Aerospace partnering again, and Mahindra Defense Naval Systems has partnered with Ultra Electronics for underwater warfare equipment. So there is an intense competition that is seen in this particular segment. You have players like Bharat Forge, Reliance Industries, and Tata Group, L&T are they have fairly entrenched in the business and are looking for more opportunity in defense equipment. You have investments coming from Anil Ambani's Reliance Group and Adani's Adani Defense Systems too. So we move on to Amazon. So the story about Amazon that we have here is the online retail giant Amazon has acquired Indian payments processor M-Vantage Payments Private Limited for an undisclosed sum. So M-Vantage employees will join Amazon's India unit that will use the company's technology on e-commerce website. Amazon had claimed this in a press release. So you want to look up M-Vantage Payments and Amazon acquiring M-Vantage Payment and how the employees of M-Vantage have moved to Amazon. Amazon has apparently picked up 26% of retail from Trent Limited and its publishing arm Westland for 9.5 crores. So what are the rivals doing? So the rival Snapdeal recently announced, and it has raised $200 million, which has given it a valuation of $6.5 billion in the country. So they are looking for optimizing logistics and infrastructure in the fast growing domestic e-commerce sector to compete with other rivals. So you might have noticed that Uber has recently changed its logo. So why? What is the reason behind Uber changing its logo? So you have Uber was an app-based car hire service till now. So you need to. So they have ride services and more. So Uber, as you know, is available in cities, about 40 cities in China, and it announced in the last year that it would expand to 100 cities over the next 1 year. That is, by 2017, they would have expanded to 100 cities in China. This is the statistics that we have. China replaces securities regulator. So China has removed the head of its securities regulator as it tries to tackle the major volatility in its stock markets. So as you've noticed, there's a lot of turbulence in the Chinese market regarding the Chinese devaluation, currency devaluation. These are some macroeconomic based principles that facts that you might want to look up for a GD. So if they are talking to you about what is a fixed rate and what is a flexible rate and what is India adopting, and in what means will you use a fixed rate and what means will you use a flexible rate, and why did China devaluate its currency? Has it done it before? And why would a country want to devaluate its currency? These are the factors that you would want to look at. So Zhou Gang was replaced by Liu Xiu as the chairman of China Securities Regulatory Commission. This is a fact from 2015. Mr. Xiao, who became the CSRC, that is China Securities Regulatory Commission's chair in 2013, has been criticized for mishandling the crisis. So this person, Mr. Xiao, has been blamed for mishandling the crisis. So you need to look into this matter even deeper, right? We have a fact from Apple. So Apple has set up a technology development center in Hyderabad recently in Feb 2016. So you would want to dig into more of these expansions that are happening in cloud investments and R&D developments that are happening from technology bigwigs like Apple or Microsoft in the country. So the center that was really recently started up by Apple is expected to be 250,000 square feet in the Tishman's Spear Wave Rock facility. And then we have a fact about Competition Commission of India. On January 5th, 2016, it gave its approval to Reliance Capital Asset Management which proposed acquisition of Goldman Sachs mutual fund business in India for a sum of 243 crore rupees. And so more facts about the Reliance Capital and Goldman Sachs deal. RCAM, that is Reliance, had announced the acquisition on October 25th. Under this deal, the company will acquire all 12 onshore mutual fund schemes of Goldman Sachs Asset Management India with a total asset under management of 7132 crore rupees. The deal will also make Reliance MF the exclusive fund manager for the government's ambitious central public sector enterprises. So how are these private players catching up with government's deal, and how are they supplementing government's growth? Like, why Juniper Networks has gotten into India, and what is the motive behind so many MNC investments that are coming through, and what is the reason behind Freedom 251 being launched at a small sum? You need to look into this. And how was the government helping Digital India? The government's Digital India project is catering other private players, and these are and healthcare systems. These are some pointers that you would want to look into. And that is all we have gotten in here for current affairs, the facts. So I will now look into the tips for current affairs. What sort of current affairs, more current affairs that you need to look into, what sort of segments and etc.
Now you might be tested upon your basics of your current affairs, like the last week's newspaper. So every time when you go to a interview session, before that you prepare the last week's news, the whole news, go through basically the opinion section. You'll get a lot of opinions about what the pros and cons about a concept was there, and basically the current issues, whether it be the GNU issue or what the government is planning to do, or what kind of a new resolution they are going to pass, what is the current buzzing statement. Like currently we have a JAT issue at Haryana, so what are the implications and how they are basically going to cover this. So there might be a few questions, so you basically understand the key issue, the key personnel involved in it, and what are they actually doing for it, and what are the outcomes. You can think of some opinion either ways, whatever you answer in some future hold, if it is substantiated by the issue overall, so it will give you a positive message during the interview. So kindly go through at least 1 week of newspaper. Go through a good daily. I will suggest basically at Times of India or the Hindu. Go to the opinions page, do visit it, and kindly go through it regularly, so that you are briefly knowing about each and every thing which is happening around you. Also, one more thing, if you are belonging to a particular state, also study about that state also. So the current affairs or happenings which are basically affecting the national level for that state also will matter in the interview.
Just add on to the word Abhishek told. Please go through the newspaper from today onwards. Even look into the previous papers also, whatever the recent issues that is being happening. And also, if some question is thrown at you regarding some current affairs, don't be rhetoric. Don't put up your opinion. Just try to come up with facts and figures. Don't be rhetoric over there. Don't put up your opinions.
Okay, we are having one more session on marketing and finance tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So kindly log on to it, and wishing you very best for your future and the GDPIs. All the best, guys. Well, we are wrapping it up.